Okay, now we're being recorded, so behave. Okay, so the difference, Oh, well, I'll just tell them what you said. Okay, be quiet. So there are different types of conjunctions. I don't care if you know the difference between coordinating, correlative conjunctions. It doesn't matter, but you need to be able to identify a conjunction. So our most common ones, I'm sure this is going to make you all laugh because everything does, are fanboys. Okay, so the fanboys are coordinating conjunctions. They're the most common conjunctions in a sentence. And actually, even in these, so it's for and nor, but or yet so. In these, the most common conjunctions are and, but, or, and so, right? Very rarely do you hear somebody say, like, I need to go to the grocery for we are out of food. Like, that's not how we speak very often. Sometimes, possibly, okay, but most of the time, those are the conjunctions used. So if you're confused, these words are always conjunctions. So it's not like an adjective where it can sometimes be a noun. These words will always be conjunctions. So if you can remember fanboys, which is an easy acronym to remember, for and nor, but, or, yet, so. Okay, because is also a conjunction. Often, not always, but can be. Here's where it gets a little tricky. Correlative conjunctions are the two-word conjunctions. So if you look at these, there are 5 of them. So you have both and, either or, neither nor, not only but also, and whether or. Okay, and we do use these occasionally, like both Spencer and Aiden are amazing students, right? There we have the conjunction. So when you have that sentence, you would naturally see and, but then you would have this both. Both can sometimes be a pronoun. So you have to, that's where you have to start being like, how is this being used? It is not replacing anything here. Therefore, it is part of the conjunction. Okay, same thing with either or, neither nor. Either Mrs. Fry will jump out the window or she will get through grammar. One of those is going to happen, right? So either or, the window, it's looking like the window. It doesn't open far enough. Okay. So those are correlative conjunctions. The one that we probably use the least frequently that people mess up is this not only but also. They'll just circle the but. Circle the but. My sons came home last year and they're like, Mom, we learned how to spell but not the butt on your body. The whole conversation. Okay, so not only will they leave, but they will also not be here to clean up. Okay, so all of those words are part of the conjunction. So we did not do this worksheet. We did this as a class activity. So let's see if we could do this as a class activity. You guys are you're my wild cards here. Okay, so I'm gonna call on Miguel first. You have to do number 1. Tell me the conjunction in the sentence, and then you can pick the next person. So Lyle chose both steak and salad for dinner. What's the conjunction? And what else? No. Both. Well, then sit in the front row, you ding dong. Both and. Thank you. Call on somebody. This should be fast. Call on somebody. Evan, go. I chose neither steak nor salad for my dinner. And? Oh my gosh. Okay, let's revisit. We're 0 for 2 on listening back there. Good. Correlative conjunctions, you guys. 2-word conjunctions. I was saying and, like also, not just nor, also. I'm sorry, people at home, if you're listening. Number 3, who are you calling on? Okay, number 3, either you or he can drive Dad to the train station. You're amazing. You're the best out of the 3 so far. Call in somebody. Number 4, the panda wanted to eat, for he was hungry. Oh, it's 4. Okay, I get what you're saying. I thought you were saying the number 4. Okay, call on somebody. Good, peanut butter and jelly. Call on somebody for number 6. Who? Meryl. Not only the girls, but also the boys will be invited. Okay, that's part of it. This is a long one. Who remembers it? Only and also, but it also has what? Not, no. Say it again. Not only, but also. This is a long one. So only and also, not only, but also. Good. Call on someone, Meryl. Jackie, number 7. Sarah did not know whether to swing at the ball or take the pitch. This is a hard one. It's tricky. Yes, and there's another word. Good. Whether or. Call on somebody. Let's get that side of the room. Okay. Did you already? Allison already went. Call on somebody else. Let's pull Saran into this. Saran, you're up. Number 7. Oh, number 8. Mark would like to go, but he cannot. Shh, I can't hear Saran. What? Yes. Call on somebody for number 9. Ruth likes the food at the restaurant, yet he seldom eats here. Good job. Call on somebody for the last one. Aiden, run with him or her. Which word is connecting things, Aiden? No. Here, remember fanboys. Or, yes, the answer was or. I would like to think that we understand those. Do we understand those? All right, let's move down to verbs. Don't say uh-oh. Verbs should be easy. There should be no uh-ohs. Okay, good. Then you should get a good grade. Here we go. All right, so I'm just gonna glaze over this action verb thing because action verb should be what we know, right? This is the area that we should know. When I say what is the action in the sentence, you should know it, right? So delivers, what is my father doing? He's delivering. What is Louis doing? He's bowling, right? So action verbs we know. It is the action in the sentence. It gets confusing when we throw in linking verbs and helping verbs. Hello? Okay, bye. Evan, you're just going for a minute to the office. No, it was Miss Rasnick. You're not in trouble. Something probably got delivered to you. You're fine. I don't know, but that was not, just go. Just for a minute. Okay. Linking verbs. Okay, so it gets confusing when we throw in linking verbs because those are not action. And what you guys always think is that a verb is action, and it's not. It can just link parts of the sentence. So, for example, is all of these words here. Did any of you ever learn these? Like Amazar was or be being Ben? Did you learn the song? Okay, so the parts of the word, like the word be, this is like Spanish. Stop talking. This is like Spanish class, right? So the word be can take many forms. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. That's all forms of the word be. Okay. So like it's all the different tenses. Like I was, she is, we are. That's all forms of the same word be. Those words are always verbs. So if that doesn't make sense to you, what you do need to learn is that these words right here, they are always verbs. So if you see the word is, that is either a linking verb or a helping verb, but it is a verb regardless. It's always going to be a verb. So if the sentence is, she is amazing, the verb in that sentence is. It is linking she to amazing. Okay. If you look at these examples, she is a doctor. Okay. Is the verb there, even though it's not an action. It's a linking verb. In this sentence, underneath it, she is studying to become a doctor. What is the action? What is the action? It's not is, it's what? Studying. Okay. So we have an action verb in that sentence, but is is still there. This is a helping verb. So is studying is a verb phrase. So anytime you see any of these words, those are part of the verb. Okay, it is a verb phrase. Okay, so it gets a little bit more confusing when we talk about linking verbs because sometimes the word, and I'm not going to really ever ask you identify linking verse help or action verb, but sometimes the word looks like an action, but it's not an action. It's still a verb though. It's a linking verb. Okay, so if you look at the number 1 and 2, Reggie looked confused and Reggie looked for his missing wallet. Which one of those is an action verb? Okay, which one of those is an action verb? Yes, he is physically looking for his missing wallet, right? He is doing the action of looking, like, where's my wallet? I don't know, right? He's looking for the wallet. And number 1, he looks confused, but that's not an action, it's a linking verb. Either way, it's still a verb. Okay, so that might be a bonus question at some point, but as long as you know that that's a verb, that's what matters. Number 3 and 4, Tammy grew tired of the long concert, or Tammy grew tomatoes. Which one is she physically doing something? Aiden, you're really worrying me. She's not physically growing. I mean, she's growing tired, but in number 4, she is physically growing the tomatoes. Like that is an action of growing. Okay. Number 5 and 6, I feel confused in math class, or I feel the penny at the bottom of the pool, which is the physical act of touching something. You got it. Okay, so that's when it's an action verb. Either way, it doesn't matter. They're both verbs. But when you can physically do the action, it's an action verb. When you can't, it's a linking verb. Okay. Whew. Almost done. Okay, so the last part is helping verbs. And this is where we still have the am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. We also have the forms of has, right? I have, I had, she has, those words. And the forms of do. We do, she does. Those are all helping verbs. They are always verbs. When you see any of these words here, and I'm going to leave this on the screen when you get your assignment, but when you see any of these words, they are always verbs. And most of the time, they're acting as helping verbs. So there are going to be more words with them. So if you look at this, the members are going to the city tomorrow. The action is going. Here's my verb. Okay, but there is more to that verb because there's a helping verb. So if you were to identify the parts of this sentence, you would say the we know is what part of speech? We learned it yesterday. The is an article. Articles are always, maybe you don't know anything. Adjectives. So the is an adjective. Members. What part of speech is members? Noun, right? They're people. Going is a verb. Are going, are is a verb too. So this would be adjective, noun, verb, verb. Okay. That joke has been heard around the office. Has been are both linking verbs. Helping verbs. Heard is my action. So if I were to identify the parts of speech, what is my subject? What is my noun here? Joke. Good. That is describing joke. So remember, this is an adjective. Has been heard, all verbs. Okay, we'll get to around the office later. That's a prepositional phrase. Okay. And then here, if you notice, we have the helping verb separated from the main verb because it's a question. So if I were to ask you to identify the parts of speech here, the we know is an article, and articles are adjectives. Members, that's a person is a noun. Going is the action verb, but are is the helping verb. So we have 2 verbs there. To the city tomorrow evening, to the city is prepositional phrase. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so this is what by the end of the week I want you to be able to do. So when you're doing these worksheets, you don't just like try to figure out the names of the animals without understanding the parts of speech. Otherwise, you're missing the whole point. Okay, actually today it's not names of animals, it's names of boys. So here's what you're going to do. You have this worksheet. Okay, and it's this part, the first part's pretty easy. You're going to find the verb. There is only one per sentence, and most of them are action verbs. You will underline it, put the letter on the line. It will spell out 5 boys' names. Okay, so like question number 1, will he remember the name of the boys? What is the verb, the action? Remember, very good. So you would put an R here on this line. Okay. When you're done, you'll have 5 boys' names. No. But here on the bottom, we have one more activity to do. And this one is a little trickier, so I want to make sure you understand it. You are going to fill in the verb or the verb phrase. Okay, so if you look at number 5, or let's look at number 6. Our friends have blank several wild animals. What's a verb you could put in here? What'd you say? Caught. Our friends have caught several wild animals. Our friends have killed several wild animals. Our friends have eaten several wild animals. Our friends have pet several wild animals, right? There's a lot of options. So you just put a verb in there that you want to put in there that makes sense. Okay. In this section, you need to put a verb phrase. A verb phrase, you made it back. A verb phrase will start with a helping verb. Who's the Miss Ray? Did anybody say that? Nobody? Okay, I thought somebody said my name. And I will leave this list of helping verbs up here for you so you won't get confused. Okay, but a verb phrase will have 2. So like we should blank blank by tomorrow afternoon. We should be done. Well, done is an adjective. We should have arrived by tomorrow afternoon. We should be leaving by tomorrow afternoon. We should be flying by tomorrow afternoon, right? So you're going to put in a verb phrase. Okay, look at number 3. None of us blank blank that you remembered the locker combination. None of us. Okay, believe is a good one. None of us could believe that you remembered the locker combination. Does that make sense? So I will leave up here on the screen the helping verb. So when you have to put a verb phrase in, the first word should be one of the helping verbs and then another verb to go with it. You can work on this by yourself. You can work on this with somebody else. You're running out of minutes. Oh, hold on, let me stop recording.